Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Sama Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Sama Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Sama Sambuddhassa. Dhamma of Peace series number 27. Two kinds of Sampajanna. In the scriptures, there are 4 kinds of Sampajanna. However, for practical purpose and understanding, these 4 can be summed up into 2. The first one is related to applying intelligence in everyday life affairs. We encounter many good and bad situations, pleasant and unpleasant conditions all the time. And naturally, most of us react to these situations. If you like it, smile, hug, embrace, try to put under your wings. If you don't like it, push it away, kick it out, screaming, yelling, angry, or even try to dominate it. That's our natural instincts regarding to everyday life affairs. But what we should really do is we must not react to those conditions. All conditions will be right under your nose, one after the other, all the time. When they come under your nose, look at them critically and even analyze it. It is about sizing up the situation, checking out the conditions, how they are, what they are, who's involved, what is pushing them or blocking them, and weigh pros and cons. What kind of decision that you make will be suitable for that condition, suitable and appropriate. Also, sometimes your choice may be suitable, but if you present it at the wrong place, no good result will come out. Or the timing is very important. Or what type of people. So you have to be appropriate in terms of time, place, and suitable for the group of people you are going to interact with. But most importantly, whether the result of your decision, the actions that you are going to take, will bring any beneficial result, good result, to yourself as well as others. That's most importantly. It wouldn't cause any hurt and harm to anybody. It wouldn't embarrass, disgrace anyone, but make people happy, live a little easier, good result, beneficial results. We need these things from the actions we are going to take. In other words, your decision. And all the things that I described just now falls under the 2 Sampajanna in the scripture. One is called Satipatthana Sampajanna, and the other one is Sapaya Sampajanna. Basically, it means whether suitable, appropriate, or beneficial, and in harmony with everything around it. Those two. But we'll just call it one, using one's intelligence in everyday life affairs so that we could create a harmonious environment. That's one kind of Sampajanna, the first one. The second one is totally related with meditation, and it is an all-rounded basis. It is for serious Vipassana practicing yogis. So basically, that goes straight to the point of observing, noting, and being mindful. I use all the words observing, noting, and being mindful. Basically, correct mindfulness. Of course, one has to start with intellectual decision making. In such a case like, when do I go? When's my vacation? How much time I can take? Which meditation center to go? Which monastery to go? Whether what they teach is in accordance with what you have already learned, and so on and so forth. Those are the decision making based on the information that you have intelligently. You have to base on it. That decision has to be made before your full commitment. And then the yogi goes to the center or to the monastery, to a secluded place in a very quiet location by yourself. That means the yogi has entered the domain of a meditator. It's called domain of a meditator. We need to know what domain of the meditator means in a strict sense. When you enter such retreat, meditation retreat, let's say for 3 months period, one must be practicing every day. No weekend break, no Sunday break, no Saturday break. One practice 90 days straight without taking days off. That's one. And then a day. What's a day for the yogi? We call it in general, a day is 24 hours. Out of that 24 hours, 20 or 21 hours is a day for the practicing yogi. One must practice minimum 20, maximum 21. I shouldn't say maximum 21. There are yogis who are so diligent, they practice 24 hours a day continuously. But in general, I'll just call it 21. Which means the yogi wakes up at 3 a.m. in the morning and sleeps at 11 p.m. for 20 hours yogi, or sleep at midnight for 3 hours sleeping yogi. That is what it's called a day. 3 months, 90 days, each day 20 to 22 hours practice. But how do you conduct yourself during those periods? You conduct in such a way you don't take any break during those 21 hours, which means just do pick up a few examples. Oh, I just ate. It's full. I think I should better rest a little bit. With a full stomach, even if I meditate, it wouldn't be that effective. I'll take a little break, a little rest. Oh, I'm very tired today. I have been practicing straight on for 2 weeks and my body is talking to me, very tired, very tired. If I take a little break, it might rejuvenate me and push me farther after that. That's called taking a break. You don't take for a full stomach, you don't take break for a body is tired. And sometimes the yogis become slop and torpor. Sleepiness, laziness set in. And some say, oh, if I take a little cat nap, it'll be very good after that. Right now it's useless. No, you don't take a break. You observe in such a way to overcome that sleepiness and laziness. This is not only an obstacle for us. Even at the time of Buddha, the monks have the same problem, sloth and torpor. The Buddha taught us 11 ways how to overcome sloth and torpor. One must try all these things to push back sloth and torpor. That's taking a break. So in other words, no excuses is good enough to take a break. Taking a break. And another one is there must be no gap in mindfulness from the preceding object to the succeeding object. In other words, one is observing every object of the present moment. They come and they disappear, they come and they disappear. One must observe the object of the present moment from the beginning to the end. Not superficially, but intensely. Beginning right to the end. And once it's ended, you go right to the beginning of another object, right to the end. Continuously. There must be no gap. Let's say we are practicing or using the objects of meditation as rising and falling and rising and falling, falling and rising. After a while, you will notice after the end of the falling movement and before the beginning of the rising movement, there's a little space of time, a gap. Oh, a gap, that's it. You just go falling, rising, falling, rising. But that is a gap, and that gap means there's no mindfulness during the period of that gap. And our teachers have given us another object to insert it in that gap. That's called touching. Touching means some people may be more aware of the pressure of the ankle. In a cross-legged posture, there could be pressure at the ankle, or could be pressure at the buttocks or hip bones. Some points is more obvious. A point is more obvious than the other. So go to that point and label it as touching and observe that pressure or hardness. Touching means hardness or pressure. Just say touching. So falling, touching, rising. And let's say you are striving very hard, and about 3 weeks, I'm just picking up a number, you begin to sense a space, a gap between the rising and falling. Before it was continuous. Now your mindfulness is strong, concentration is strong. You began to notice these gaps between the rising and falling. You don't purposely look for it. It presents by itself due to the concentration level. In that gap, our teachers give us another object to insert, sitting. Sitting doesn't mean you try to look at your whole body in a sitting posture. It's just a matter of watching your back is in an upright position, or erectness and uprightness, not even position. Or the stiffness. If it is not stiff, your body will not be sitting. You observe that quality, but you label it sitting. Rising, sitting, falling, touching. And if there's too big a gap for some yogis, take 2 points, sitting, sitting. Rising, sitting, falling, touching, touching. Touching, touching. In other words, there must be no space or a period of time without an object of observation. And if there is a space, that is called a gap. A gap means you lost your mindfulness of that period. That's how one observes. 90 days in full stretch, 21 hours a day without taking a break and a gap. That's if we can maintain with urgent effort or diligence, industriousness, you are a very good disciplined yogi striving for liberation. And some will say, oh, only 3 and 4 hours will be very tired. It is impossible. They just actually talked to the meditation teacher. But think about this. In your everyday life, while you're awake, what are you doing? Running, sitting, standing, cooking, walking, thinking, laughing, joking, exercising, exerting a lot of physical pressures. The body burned up all these energies for those activities. In meditation, you are not exerting any physical pressure, any physical activities, and not burning any calories for it. So there's a lot of reserve energy. Because of that, 3-4 hours sleep is sufficient to sustain and regulate the body requirements. And we are practicing this, observing, noting, mindful, observing, noting, mindful. Why? Why is to know the true nature of mind and matter. In a practical way, that's the answer of why. We are practicing these to know the true nature of mind and matter, or mind and body, or consciousness and body. Whatever pair you like, they are all one and the same. This mind and matter is always constantly arising and passing away. That is their true nature. But knowing that way from the books and from the lecture is not a true knowing. You have to really experience it while you are meditating. A physical object come up, disappear. A mental object come up, disappear. In a fleeting moment, quickly. They come, they go, they come, they go, they come, they go. And that is, you are experiencing the arising and passing away of the physical and mental objects. Experientially understanding. That is called true understanding, direct understanding, not second-hand understanding. And after some time, the first is just coming and going. And after some time, when your mindfulness momentum has become stronger, concentrations become higher, suddenly you begin to see they are just simply gone. You don't even see the coming, you are just seeing the going, and you begin to feel like it's a burden. What's a burden? A burden is a suffering. In other words, you are practicing this mindfulness insight meditation to understand suffering. The first way of explaining is to understand the true nature of mind and matter. The second way to explain is to understand the suffering, dukkha sissa, the noble truth of suffering. But again, experientially, not through second-hand knowledge. And once you understand everything is gone, what is happening? What is happening is we always talk about us. Me, I, my. Me, I, my. You, yours, theirs. What's that? It's the me, I, my, you, I is the identification of a person or an individual or a being or the self. And eventually it boils down to soul, atta. So what is happening is this identification of self or soul is also disappearing. Then suddenly it dawns on you, there's no self, there's no soul. Self or soul is atta. Non-self, no soul is anatta. You understand the concept of anatta. This self or soul has no essence. There's nothing core to it. It's just empty, simply nothingness. That's the understanding. So to put it back what we just said, we practice this mindfulness insight meditation to understand the true nature of mind and matter, or to understand what dukkha sissa, suffering is, to understand there is no self or soul. And when you have that, what happens? You simply understand the full noble truth. And all these things I've just described what a meditator must do covers under the two Sampajanna described in the scripts. One is called Gosara Sampajanna, domain of a meditator. Another one is called Asammoha Sampajanna, Sampajanna of non-delusion. those two are put all together in this a practical category for the seriously practicing Vipassana yogis. So there are two types of Sampajanna. So belief in soul concept creates I along with the ego. And to eradicate it, one must observe and know experientially that the mind and the body are suffering. Otherwise, one will be attached to them. To abandon craving and attachment, one must practice the Noble Eightfold Path. If I have to describe the Noble Eightfold Path in very brief, here it is. Observing and noting with precision is the path to correct mindfulness. Applying diligence to establish continuous mindfulness is the path to correct effort. Developing a calm mind is the path to correct concentration. Knowing penetratively the true nature of mind and matter is the path to the right view. Directing the mind to the present object, one after the other, is the path to the right thought. The morality groups, right deed, right speech, and right livelihoods are the foundations of the Vipassana practice. So altogether 8. If one is endowed with this Noble Eightfold Path, that means one already have realized Nibbana, the end of all form of suffering, liberation. May all of you be able to practice correct mindfulness insight meditation, and may you be able to liberate yourself from samsara and suffering as soon as possible. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you very much.